Suspense.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is the last Halloween episode before I delve into the 20s and 30s with some more old Hollywood and Black history. I've got some interesting goodies planned for you next month. Very excited about that. But in today's episode, I'm going to focus strictly on African American B horror flicks from the 30s to the 70s. We've got a lot of stuff to get through and a short time to do it in, so we've no time for costumes or magic shenanigans this go around. This episode was actually a bit hard to put together because a lot of the earlier films from the 30s and 40s that I've seen are no longer in print or available online. Like, you're not even going to be able to find them on YouTube or archive.org or any other video sharing site. Since I think it's unfair to tell you about movies you have zero chance of seeing, I put together a list of ones that are actually available, but perhaps not all quite as well known. So, let's get started, shall we? The first one I'm going to tell you about came out in 1940, and it's called Son of Anagi. It stars Roland Price, Spencer Williams, Herman Schopp, and Laura Bowman. This is a monster movie directed by Richard C. Kahn, and it was the first science fiction horror film to feature an all-black cast. It was written by Spencer Williams and was based on a short story he wrote called House of Horror. This one is about a young, just married couple who are set to inherit the home of a doctor who's done research in Africa. And while in Africa, she took with her a human-type specimen that she refers to as the missing link. The doctor is working on some sort of potion that will help the human race, and eventually the missing link drinks that potion, goes into a rage, and kills the doctor. The young couple then inherits the house, along with the missing link that they know not one thing about. And as I'm sure you can guess, things definitely get a little hairy from there. This is an interesting movie, and while it may not have the highest ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, I like it, and it has historical significance in that it's the first all-black sci-fi horror movie, so we definitely think it's worth a watch. All right. So now we're going to move forward in time, and we're going to venture into the 1970s. You know I love the 1970s. With the movie Blood Couple, aka Ganja and Hess. And this one came out in 1973. It stars the beautiful Marlene Clark and the fellow that starred in Night of the Living Dead, Dwayne Jones. And in this one, Dwayne's character plays a rich anthropologist who is doing research on an ancient tribe of African blood drinkers. One night, Dwayne's assistant stabs him with a ceremonial dagger from the tribe, and that turns him into a vampire. He seduces his assistant's wife and turns her into a vampire as well, and that's when things really start to get crazy. This is one of my favorite movies, and you should definitely put it on your watch list if you haven't seen it. Okay. So now for the next one. The next one, another 70s movie, came out in 1974. It's called The Beast Must Die. I'm telling you right now, in the beginning, that this movie is absolutely ridiculous. It is hilarious, and it is not a comedy. So this one stars Mr. Tasty McTasterton himself, Calvin Lockhart, and we've got more Marlene Clark for your ass too. You are welcome in advance. Peter Cushing and some other folks are in this, but we focusing on the main characters today. This one is reminiscent of Vincent Price's The House on Haunted Hill, in that a wealthy millionaire invites a group of ne'er-do-wells, including his wife Marlene, to his English mansion to hang out. But once there, instead of offering them a bunch of money to stay in his haunted mansion, like the Vincent Price movie, he locks them all in there because one of them is a werewolf, and he can't let them go until he finds out who it is and kills them. I'm not claiming that this is a masterpiece or anything, but I love it, and if you like cheesy 70s horror flicks, I really think you'll dig this one. Okay, So now we're going to get in our old time machine, and we're going to go back again, and we're going to go to 1939 with the movie The Devil's Daughter. This one stars Ida James. You might remember her history from one of my Insta posts, as she's amazing. And also Nina Mae McKinney, who is another black queen. This movie's set in Jamaica, where Nina's character is managing a banana plantation. Her father dies and leaves the plantation to her half-sister, Ida James's character. Nina is not happy about this, so she decides to use her voodoo powers to get the plantation back. I totally dig this movie. It's chock full of gorgeous black women, and the story is interesting to me. I definitely think it's worth taking a peek if you are so inclined. All right, so we're going back to the 70s now, and we're going to talk about a movie that came out in 1974, and it's called Sugar Hill. This one stars another gorgeous black queen, Marky Bay, and it also stars Robert Quarry, Zara Cully, Don Pedro Colley, and Richard Lawson. In this one, Marky's boyfriend gets killed by a local mob boss, so she hooks up with a voodoo queen to help her take revenge. The voodoo queen summons the voodoo lord of the dead, and he enlists his zombies to take care of business. I love this movie mostly because it has Marky Bay in it, and she is wearing the flyest jumpsuit ever to hit the big screen. But also, it's a super fun movie that makes me laugh, even though it is not a comedy. If you haven't seen it, I recommend checking it out. The last movie I'm going to tell you about came out in 1942, and it's a horror comedy called Lucky Ghost, and it stars Matten Moreland and F.E. Miller. I'm going to warn you right now that there is a lot of shuckin' and jivin', big-eyed wonderment, and literally every single black stereotype you have ever heard of is portrayed in this film. I still watch movies like this to appreciate these actors' craft. It was hard to be a black actor back then, and you took what you could get to put food on your family's table. It was a different time, and this is how a majority of black actors were able to have film careers and support their families, by playing to those stereotypes. The roles got less stereotypical as the years progressed from the 60s to the 90s, but, black actors are still struggling to get great parts. Anyway, about this movie. So Manson and Miller, they win a house in a craps game, only to discover that the former owners, who have ceased to be alive, aren't too excited about the fact that their home is being used for jitterbugging, jiving, and hullabalooing. Yeah. So the ghosts enact a campaign to scare off everyone with some old-fashioned special effects. It's a silly movie, but I think it's important to watch films like this so you can see how far we've come as black actors in Hollywood. And I also believe it's unwise to try and bury the past because it's not what we wish it was. You gotta learn your history so you don't repeat it. Anyway, there are a ton of other black films that I could talk about, but we don't have time for it because I like to keep these at a maximum of 10 minutes so you don't get bored and hopefully watch till the end and get all the goodies. As always, if you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. And hopefully, I'll see you here for my next episode, the Wednesday after next.